Hello. This is the crazy hair that's just been immortalised. Well, not immortalised. I guess immortalised if my passport lasts for the rest of my life. I had passport photos done today. And this is the crazy fucking hair that is now going to be on my passport photo for the next 10 years. So, there you go. How's your day going? Looks like a fucking clown wig. I mean, like, I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, what can you do? Right, my loves. I have something I want to share with you. And it's interesting. I feel like sometimes I have this unconscious little thing in the back of my mind, like, you can't go live if you're not an excitable puppy. And yet there's also, it's, you know, I'm human and I'm not always an excitable puppy. I am multifaceted and multidimensional, as are you. And if part of my whole fucking thing is like, show up as you are, be you fully expressed, however that looks on any given day, right? Then to honour the softer, gentler, you know, that kind of side of myself, and to share that with you is also important, right? And my little reel that I did today about trying to always, if you're always trying to be who you think other people need you to be, that isn't just like actions that you take. That's also who, like, how you feel, and are you still showing up for your life? When I say showing up for your life, I mean, like, are you still like speaking to people, showing up in your business, sharing yourself and asking for support or asking for what you need, even when you're feeling like not high vibe, you know? And also, like, what the fuck does high vibe even mean? Oh my God, Steph, hello. That's so funny. I literally just looked at your stories. I was like, it's your birthday soon, right? Or has it already gone? You're a Gemini. I remember this. I remember the Gemini vibes. Oh, hi, Jane. Hey, Sarah. Oh, Ishtar. I feel like all my favourite people are coming on. Claire. Let me just take a moment to feel this in my heart. Thank you for being here. Whether you stay or whether you go, thank you for being here for however long you are. So, yeah, it's interesting because I was thinking today, like, people say to me so often, like, oh, you just don't give a fuck, you just show up, and, you know, you just show up as you are. And I think people think that that's like when I show up and I'm all like, bah, 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 and like doing silly dances and like hitting stuff and like, ah, that's just how I am all the time. And it's like, no, that's not the reality. And actually I started to think like, what parts of myself do I really keep for myself? And that's okay. Like, I still feel like there's, yeah, like you don't have to fucking bubbly snot cry or share all of the things all of the fucking time, that you get to have a life. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're building a business and you're using content creation as a way to build that business, to make it your life, and to only do that, and to just be like eye twitchy about it, you're just putting yourself in another fucking cage. And that's not what we're about in this world, really, is it? It's not what we're about, you and me. No, thank you. We're more about the, how can I create more freedom? How can I be more free? How can I embody freedom in a greater way? And so this morning when I was like, I want to go on and I want to go live and I have things to say, but I'm feeling a bit tired and I'm not feeling like an excitable puppy. And I thought, well, Georgina, show up anyway. Like, some of the best gym sessions I have are the ones where I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit tired and I'm not like super like, let's go, champ. But all right. And then I just kind of casually rock up and I walk into the gym and I'm like, ping, and I'm on and I'm ready to go. So I feel like for me, with maybe it's the defined throat life, when I start speaking, when I just hit go live, when I just hit record on my phone for a podcast, when I just remind myself that however and whoever I am right now in this moment is not only good enough, but it is fucking perfect for the delivery of the message that wants to come through in that moment. And it's understanding that when you trust, we fully know, trust and believe that you always have something good to say, there's some gold, some magic is always going to pour forth from your mouth when you start speaking. When you trust that, it's really not about even having to, like, you know, quote unquote, cultivate an energetic state before you go live. It's pretty unlikely I'd ever come on live if I'm like bubbly snot crying and in process around something, because that's not really my jam. Like, you know, some people, that's their thing and that's what they do and it's great for them. But for me, I'm like, that isn't really my thing. However, to think that I need to be like 100% energy, bam, in order to be valuable, it's absolute bullshit. So that's the first thing. The main thing that I want to talk to you about, however, that's just the preamble. Welcome to my world. There are lots of words, all of the time. The thing I really wanted to say is, one of the things that I get to remind my clients of time and time again, and I think it's because it's something that I've had to work through on my own journey, is when things are happening in 3D reality land, it can be easy when we are people who care about people in general. We have big hearts, and we're very have a lot of empathy and all of that good stuff. We feel all the things, we know all the things, we see all the things. When you live that kind of life, and that's just the person that you are naturally, it can be very easy to unconsciously get sucked in to the external drama. It can get very easy to not even get sucked into it necessarily, but to stop prioritizing your own sense of joy and pleasure and fulfillment and what feels really good, and to kind of I do not believe we do this consciously, because we're not that stupid, right? We're bright. We're fucking clever here. My people are smart as fuck. Hey Zoe. So we know, we're very, self-aware. However, there's always unconscious shit going on. We're not robots, right? So when you notice, and I'd love for you to even share this in the comments if you feel that you do this sometimes, whether it's clients, people that you care about in your life, or global events. I'm not a big global event person, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't watch the news, I don't read the newspapers, any news on Facebook, I just switch it off. I'm just not fucking interested. 6line life. I'm on the roof going, what's happening? I don't get it. Why is everyone why can't they see that we create our own reality? And then some people go, stop spiritually bypassing. And I'm like, I'm not. This is genuinely what I believe and how I feel. Stop spiritually bypassing me. These are my beliefs. I get to believe what I want. Fuck you. I don't have to get in on your drama. So anyway, moving on from that. I don't really do politics, as you can probably gather. I'm just okay. So, pardon me. And, if you do, just fuck all judgment. We're just all different. So, it is what it is. So what do I want to say? What I want to say is, when we are surrounded by life and people and emotions and energies and thoughts, and even if we're not realizing it, we're picking up on the news, stuff like that. I go at the gym that I'm at, I go to one gym, boxing gym, great. Go to another fancy schmancy gym and they've got TVs everywhere. And I avoid the TVs as much as possible because it's always got the news or like daytime television on. And it's always some absolute fear-mongering bullshit, which I'm just not fucking interested in at all. So I avoid that stuff as much as possible simply because it just doesn't really resonate with me. And I like to live in my own little Noelie bubble of joy. and conscious creation, of course. Buzzwords, coaching buzzwords. Play coaching buzzword bingo with this live stream. You'll be shit-faced. So what I really notice is it's difficult sometimes when we're out in the world not to absorb and pick things up. So even when I'm in the gym, I avoid the TVs as much as possible, but they're there and they've got subtitles on, you know? So like without realizing, sometimes I just drift off and I'm like in having my rest or whatever. And then I notice something's happening. And even though I'm not consciously paying attention to it, the images, you know, are being received. The subtitles are being received. You know, walking or like being in a cafe or something. I will not sit in a cafe if they've got the radio on. I don't want to listen to the radio. I don't want to listen to the news. That is how. This might sound like very controlling, but it's not that. It's just I want you to understand that this is less about me trying to like control my environment and more about really understanding what feels good in my system. And I have been known to like ask for have my coffee to be put in a takeaway cup so that I can leave a cafe or a coffee shop if I'm sitting next to people who are like literally just talking about the pandemic or just talking about what's happening in the news and they're like, oh my God, and they're just fit or gossiping or whatever. Like I will literally go to the counter and say, can I please have this in a takeaway cup? And I will leave, because if something doesn't feel good in my system, then I'm not going to put myself in a situation or keep myself in a situation just because it's what people do. You know, like if I become aware that something doesn't feel good inside of me, then I will honor that and I will move. Yeah, exactly, Sarah, exactly. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. So, moving on, we pick all of this stuff up without even realizing. And what I started to notice was I was almost buying into my own internal drama stories around something because I didn't want, or I felt like it wasn't right. Hello. Ding, ding, ding. Wasn't right. There's an alarm bell, right? As soon as I realized that, I'm like, huh? I realized that it felt like it wasn't right for me to feel happy, feel okay, feel even joyful, playful when XYZ is happening in the world or happening to someone I love or whatever. So a perfect example of this, real life example, peeps, is that there was a recent bereavement in my family. I don't need to go into details because, you know, it's not, it's not required. And also it kind of feels like disrespectful to the people who are actually very connected with that person. So for me, I know this person. They've been in my life for a really long time. They were very elderly. However, I didn't really have like a close one-to-one bond with them. And when they passed away, I was very aware that certain members of my family were going to have a much bigger response because of their connection with that person. And I could feel myself in that moment. I could feel I was on a cusp. And I actually felt fine. It was a bit of a shock because of the way it happened and all this. I was like, fuck, like that's, okay, a death. Even if you don't fucking know the person, if you know someone who's died in a fast or dramatic way, it hits, you know? Like that's not unusual. Like I get that. So I felt like the shock of like, wow, okay, whew. okay, that's happened. And then I was really mindful and I checked in with myself. How do I feel about this? How do I actually feel about this? And I was like, do you know, I actually I feel fine. I feel okay. I have concerns about certain people that I love very dearly, who are a lot closer to me, and how they may respond to that. But other than that, me and myself, how I actually felt about the bereavement, about the death, I just felt okay about it. And I was really proud of myself, actually, because I had that moment of acknowledging, like, this is a big fucking thing that's happened here, but how do I actually feel about it? And the truth was, I felt fine. I actually felt fine about it. Then I became aware of how okay am I with people who are upset about this situation, who are in their grief, who are deep in the emotion of it. How do I feel about them seeing me being just so okay and still going out and living my life and going to the gym and having fun and dancing videos on Instagram and, you know, still carrying on about my life? How will they feel about seeing me? And that was like my next concern. And again, I checked in with myself and I was like, that is not for me to worry about. That is not for me. That is not mine. All that I can do is keep checking in with myself and being really honest with myself about how I felt about the situation. Oh, hey, Ginger. Fellow queen. Little crown there. So when I started to really, again, like feel into that, firstly, it was huge growth for me to notice that. It was huge growth for me to be able to see something that other people were very upset about, that maybe they might perceive me that I should be upset about it, but I wasn't. There was a time when I would have felt like emotional FOMO. You know, I'd have been like, oh, okay, maybe I should like be looking at them like I'm the little alien child, you know, going, I should feel more about this, but I don't. Like, and is this going to create my, you know, underneath it all is really this fear of like, am I going to be rejected? Are people going to think I'm just this cold-hearted bitch? You know, but the truth is, no, I'm actually deeply fucking loving and compassionate, but I just really value how I feel, and I really value what truth is to me. And I really don't desire to have energy leaks where I am considering how other people may perceive my response to a situation. Because quite frankly, we're all human. We all respond. We all react. We all feel things. We're not fucking perfect and we're not robots. Okay? So to be able to be at that level of awareness with myself was a really big moment for me. And I just share it with you because I feel that so often when people come to me and they have these beautiful breakthroughs and these amazing awakenings and they start making more money and they feel more fully expressed, and then they're like in this bubble with me where they're like, they can share everything and I just reflect their fucking excitement back at them because I'm excited about it too. It becomes this little like, this little like love volcano with excitement, right? Oh, amazing. Yes. Tell me all the things, Ginger. And when you get that energy and then like they start to believe, like my clients it starts to build in them. They're like, yes, it's okay for me to be this happy. Yes, it's okay for me to play. Yes, it's okay for me to still feel good even though XYZ is happening, or that person seems to be struggling, or that person's in pain, or whatever. It's okay. It's okay to feel okay. Right? You are allowed. You have struggled enough. You have fought enough. You've had enough pain, right? You've worked through enough. You are allowed to be happy now. You're allowed to choose it. I'd love to know who's resonating with this and feeling like affirmed. Talk to me. Validate me with your comments. needy Noel. I just like to chat with you, really. Just give me something to respond to. My sacral loves it. So the final thing that I want to say about this is when people are in that bubble with me and they start to, you know, like have this excitement reflected back and they start to believe and it starts to grow and it starts to build, and then they go and live their lives and they're living their lives, and then they come back and they're like, oh shit. And they're leaving me messages like, okay, so I was feeling really good, and then I had this conversation with my partner, then I had this conversation with my mum, then I had this conversation with, you know, I saw someone that I used to work with and they said something about what I've been posting on Instagram. And it's like, then that's like the real work that happens there, right? In that, like, the expansion in my world is actually very easy. It's very easy. I'm a natural expander. Like, that is what I do. People come into my world and they're like, oh, I feel alive. I feel expansive. I can do all the things. And whoa, this is amazing. And then they're like, oh shit, no wonder I kept myself feeling like I was stuck. Because now I'm like bumping up against all the pieces of resistance that, that don't feel so good. And then that becomes what we do, is like, you know, allowing them and their nervous system to calibrate to being able to hold where they are, trust where they are, be okay with where they are, and actually keep nurturing their own joy first. And your life doesn't have to look picture perfect. You can still be growing. You can still fail. If that's even a thing. You can still get shit wrong and pick things up and try again. It doesn't have to be perfect. Not every move you make or every decision you make has to be fucking perfect. The important thing really is that you're just continuing to nurture what feels good to you. And I was listening to an Abraham Hicks clip yesterday, which I shared in the portal. So if any of you are in the portal, I shared a clip yesterday, go check it out. And at one point, Esther Hicks actually says something like, people might call you selfish. And yes, good. And I say this to my clients a lot, like, yes, good. Get fucking selfish. Get really selfish. Put your needs, your feeling goodness above and beyond everything else. Prioritize that shit, because let me tell you, no one else is doing it. No one else is doing it. And those people that you think, those people that you think need you to like fan the flames of their fire because otherwise their fire will go out or whatever. Like, those people have probably got 5 or 6 other people that they go to and whinge at as well. So don't worry. I used to have this belief, like, and this might sound like a bit of a dark thing to say, but you know, so much reverence and love for my friend who passed away and who took his own life all those years ago. And my part, you know, when I reflect on it now, I felt like I was the only person he could talk to. I felt like, you know, because he kind of told me that I was, and, you know, made out that I was, and I was in that wounded place, like our wounds just went click together. And so I felt I took a lot of that on. I was like, I need to look after, and you know, I take full ownership of that. If you've read my book, you will see I take full radical responsibility for my role in, like, not my role in his death, that's not what I'm saying, but my role in how I felt and how I allowed myself to get like sucked into something that I could never fix. You know, I could never fix that. If he was going to take his own life, he was going to take his own life. And it is deeply fucking sad. But on my side of it, I looked at, you know, where I'd allowed myself to be entangled in the toxicity of that connection, that codependency. And I had to look at my side of it. Otherwise, I was just going to keep recreating it. And I never wanted to be in that level of pain ever again. Thank you very much. So I'm going to do the fucking work to, you know, to grow from and like ensure that that death and that relationship and everything that we went through was not in vain. So I grew from that experience. And one of the things that I really learned about myself was I used to connect wound to wound so deeply that this codependency that I had with that friend of mine, I felt like if I wasn't around, if I just withdrew myself from the situation, he had no one else. I was the only one. And then I found out, you know, again, just lots of love and lots of reverence and respect to the dead always. And looking at it from a very pragmatic point of view, that wasn't the truth. You know, I found out that it wasn't just me. It was me. And then when I had to go back to work, then he would go to someone else. And then, you know, he was phoning someone else at midnight and they were picking up and taking him out for drives. And so the fact is, I was never the person that was like holding him together or holding him up. I was never the sole source of his nourishment or his, you know, feeling okay or keeping him alive. There were lots of other people that were also, you know, kind of playing that role. And we have to remember that when someone is deeply, deeply unhappy, or, you know, maybe not even to that extreme, but maybe if there are people who are just like a bit of a moan, you know, and you kind of feel like, oh, I have to make you feel better. It doesn't have to be like literally life or death like that situation was. It could just it could be as simple as if, you know, maybe it's your partner and maybe they just like come home from work and they've had a really shit day, but you've had a great day and you're like bouncing around like, I've had the best day. And then they come home and they're in a grump. So you immediately go, oh, I better not like shove my happiness down their throat, or like, you know, I better not be too annoying and be too fucking happy because they're not in a place to receive it. It is not about them. Your joy and nurturing and nourishing your own joy is about you. It's about you putting you first and you putting your needs first. So I know we've discussed some big topics here. But that's how we roll, because quite frankly, who the fuck's got time for small talk? Am I right? Come on then, sausage. So I'd love to know, for those of you, I can see there's still some people watching live. So for those of you who are watching, just before we close up this conversation, I would love to know, what does this bring home for you? And it's so funny because I was thinking I was going to come on and just be like, don't forget to take care of yourselves and nurture your joy because it's important. And then we started talking about friends who've died. Cheers. Why did I talked about 2 deaths today? Fucking hell. Fuck me. Oh, what can you do? Whatever comes out, comes out. I'm not here to question. I'm just here to deliver. Oh, good Sarah. I'm glad that you are resonating. My little Reiki muse. If you have any questions about or any reflections from your own life, feel free to share them in the comments. I will post the replay on my grid. But yeah, ultimately, no matter how bad things are, you're so welcome, Ishtar. It's lovely to see you. No matter how bad things are for other people, and even I can feel my little heart being like, no, don't say it out loud. And I'm like, it's okay, heart. It's okay, we can say it. No matter how bad things are for other people, you are still allowed to be happy. You're still allowed to make a fuck ton of money. You're still allowed to have pleasure and peace and satisfaction, even if other people don't have access to their own. Your joy, pleasure, expansion, deliciousness, like enjoyment of life, it is not something that you cultivate so that you can give it to others. It is not a resource for other people to suck from, right? Don't let people suckle from the teat of your fucking joy. Like, you get to be in, get off my teats. Get off my joy teats. That's merch. Someone remind me of that. Merch. Oh, Christ alive. So yeah, just remember that you don't cultivate your joy and your feelings of feeling good so that other people can suckle, right, from you, or like siphon that energy off and I'm doing this so that other people feel I've got more to give other people, right? It's not about that. It's about you feeling good for you. You get to feel good for you. That's the whole fucking point of this existence. And it's like we just forget, particularly when we are just people who naturally care about other people and we see the potential in other people and we want them to feel good and we want them to feel expansive and we want them to feel the joy as well. And we're like, here, have some of mine. No. No. So yeah, just do it for you. Cultivate your joy for the very selfish reason and desire that you just want to feel joyful. It is not something that you need. It's not a cup that you fill so that other people can drink from it. It is a cup you fill for yourself. And then in you doing so, you radiate that out and it activates as a field of permission. I'm getting goosebumps. It activates as a field of permission for other people to do the same. That's it. That is it. Particularly, generators, manigens, you've got to remember that with that sacral, you're literally generating energy. And then all these non-sacrals are walking around amplifying that energy. So be mindful. What you cultivate within yourself naturally radiates out. And again, it's not to say you always have to be a fucking bubble of sunshine all the fucking time. Because as we know, that is not what I preach or teach. Holy shitballs, that would be exhausting. But when you feel depleted, rather than giving more, or I just need to shut myself away from the world because I'm so overwhelmed and depleted. No. Come back to yourself. And the truth is, sometimes we are going to feel depleted. Sometimes we are going to feel tired. Sometimes we are going to feel fucking sad. And that's also important. All emotions can nourish us when we really allow ourselves to fully feel and digest them and allow them to assimilate, allow them to heal us from the inside, and then we can move forward. But you are allowed to be happy and you are allowed to be deeply fucking joyful regardless of how other people are feeling. You are allowed to be wealthy. And the final piece that I will leave you with is something that I bring my clients back to time and time again, which is another Abraham Hicks thing, which I just fucking love, which is you can't get sick enough to make someone else well. You can't get poor enough to make a poor person wealthy or rich, So you can't struggle enough to get someone else out of their struggle. Do you get me? You can't get sick enough to make a sick person well. That's not how it works. You getting in the fucking ditch with them and feeling shit as well validates how they feel and acts as evidence that there is nothing better than where they currently are. Is that really what you want to be in this world? Or do you want to be everything that you can possibly be and embody what true fulfillment is for you and model that for everybody? Let me just have a little look what you guys are saying. Permission to be enjoyed despite others around me. Yes. Mirror, where am I expecting my partner to join me in my pain or grump? Totally, right? Like, where am I like, why? I'm so fucking miserable. Or like, I don't have any money. Or I don't have this. I don't have any time. I haven't got enough energy. It's like, just, yeah. They don't need to get in it with you. It's okay. Love that. So good, Zoe. I love me some mirror action. Yeah, where am I resenting people for having the things that I want and making it their fault? Because they should be where I am. And then we can sort it out together. I love it. I love it. So good. Resonate with feeling like I have to fix things for people. I'm totally getting my Noelie fixed today. Yes, you are, because you're doing our Telegram clear. Field of permission, not a well of positivity to suck from. Exactly, right? I love it. Let's just take a nice big breath and then we shall say farewell. Remember that joy doesn't have to be for anyone other than you. And joy can be really peaceful and it can be really quiet and really gentle and soft. It doesn't have to be this big, exuberant, flamboyant energy all the time. Can be, but it doesn't have to be. So let your body feel really fucking good from the inside out. Have an amazing day. And if you're interested in working with me for a one-off session, I have like a batshit crazy offer happening on EFT sessions right now. So go check my stories out. I have only 3 available, and once they're gone, they're gone. I won't, this is not something that I do all the time. I just felt really, I just felt like a really juicy and like my heart wants to do them is how it feels like. Yeah, that is my heart. Last night after I did the content incubator sessions, it was like, fuck, I'm really good at this. And not only am I really fucking good with EFT, but I am also, I just felt my heart just felt so full and happy, and I felt so satisfied afterwards, I was like, yeah, more of this. So I have 3 on offer. You can purchase 1, 2, or all of them if you want to make the most of the fact that I've got some just pure EFT sessions going. And the details of that are currently in my stories. So please do feel free to go and check that out. Thank you for being here. I love you. Bye.